Now I could be scrubbing away madly at this, but all that's going to do is just spread crap all over the whole room. And I think I'm better off keeping the mess confined to one spot. I don't think they took advantage of the covered thread the way they're supposed to. That covered thread lets you grease this because the thread never really has to come out of the cover while you're doing most of the operations. That means that you could have that screw greased and the wear would be one grease particle on the other instead of steel on steel like this has been. But this is another thing that can be fixed. Not necessarily easily. It can be fixed. It's a good solid shaft. If need be, I could make a new one. But I don't think I need to. The old South Bend would cut a new thread, no questions asked. It would make this Acme thread easily. Done it before. But then, I'm not sure this even needs to be replaced. With reasonable care, and using it like a vise should be used, with some grease, the threads that are here are more than adequate to do most of the work that anybody would want to do with a vise. Well, should want to do with a vise. I still see people using vices to crimp the ends of pipe and trying to drive ball bearings into housings. It's not what they're designed to do. That's a press. That's something that you use an arbor press for. An arbor press is designed for that kind of work. Totally different set of leverages. And I understand in a pinch if you absolutely have to do something and there's no way around it, sometimes you just have to destroy the tool and do the job. You can't freeze in a ditch just because you don't have the proper lug wrench. You get out the pipe wrench and you take the lug off and get the wheel fixed and get back to town. But I see more often than not people just smashing things for no apparent reason other than they don't bother taking their time and thinking. Now, why am I cleaning this thread? Any ideas? This dirt and grit is harder than steel. Matter of fact, quite a few things are harder than steel, especially the kind of steel that this thread's made out of. It wasn't made out of extremely hardened steel, because if you harden a thread like this, you're going to wear the thread by breaking it. It's not going to take the amount of tensile load that this would take to be able to survive in a vise. Now you want to have something that's fairly tough, but also more ductile than brittle. So if you put sand in there, well, we all know sandpaper is very abrasive. And the thing that gets on everything, everywhere in the world is sand, because it's one of the most common substances known. It's just powdered rock. Since this whole big ball we're rolling around on is made out of rock, powdered rock's pretty damn common. And if I don't take the grit out of there and I go ahead and put grease in it, all I'm going to do is make a grinding compound out of the grit. And I don't want to do that. No point in doing that at all. Absolutely no point in doing that at all. Now, because this threaded part is steel and the nut is made out of cast iron, cast iron isn't as strong or as abrasion resistant as steel is. So I think I'm going to find the problem I'm going to have is not with the thread on this shaft. It's going to be with the nut. That nut's pretty badly worn. And it's been cracked. Just about enough thread in there to say it's there. That's how much thread wear I've got on that. Half of the thread's gone. I'm going to regret washing these parts without gloves on. Because all that crap that was in those parts is now going to be in my fingers. No crying over spilt milk. And those two pieces form a ball that lets this misalign. When the jaws on that vise open up, they open up this way. They don't open up straight out like a machinist vise. They open up like you're spreading your hands. They open up like that.